Hello, welcome to lecture series on thermodynamics. This is the video for session number 7. In this video, I am going to explain the second law of thermodynamics and its application to the refrigerator. This is the syllabus prescribed for first BSc students. I am Dr. H. Srinivas, working as an assistant professor of physics in IDSG Government College, Chikmagaluru. So once again, in this video, I am going to explain second law of thermodynamics, statements and explanation. There are Kelvin and Clausius statements, application of the second law of thermodynamics, which is a refrigerator. First of all, once again we will discuss what are the limitations of the first law of thermodynamics. So we are already explained in the last video. The first limitation is that it does not indicate the direction of flow of heat. We all know that heat always flows from a hot body to a cold body. The first law does not indicate whether heat can flow from a cold body to a hot body or not. For example, we cannot extract heat from the ice by cooling it to a low temperature. Some external work has to be done to transfer heat from cold body to hot body. Second limitation is that it does not tell anything about the conditions under which heat can be converted into mechanical work. Under which conditions we can convert heat into mechanical work. Next, third point, it also does not say how much of heat energy can be converted into mechanical work continuously. It also does not say how much of the heat energy can be converted into mechanical work. So whether 100% of heat supplied to the heat engine can be converted into heat or not. Like that, it cannot say how much of the heat energy can be converted into mechanical work continuously. Practically, it is not possible to convert the heat energy into an equivalent amount of work. It has been found that no heat engine can convert all the heat extracted from the source into work continuously without rejecting a part of it to the surroundings or sink. That means 100% efficiency is not possible for any mechanical heat engine. First law has no answer for this fact. Second law of thermodynamics. From these day-to-day life examples, it can be clearly seen that satisfying the first law of thermodynamics does not ensure for a process to occur actually. Process proceed in certain direction but may not in reverse direction. First law of thermodynamics has no restriction on the direction of a process to occur. First law of thermodynamics has no restriction on the direction of a process to occur. This inadequacy of the first law of thermodynamics to predict whether the process can occur is solved by introduction of the second law of thermodynamics. The first law of thermodynamics, which expresses the universal law of conservation of energy, is insufficient to determine in which direction thermodynamic process will proceed. This is very important point. This conclusion is called the second law of thermodynamics. There are two classical statements for the second law of thermodynamics. One is Kelvin-Planck's statement and the second one is the Clausius statement. We will discuss what is Kelvin-Planck's statement and the Clausius statement. So one by one. First one, Kelvin's statement. Experimental evidence suggests strongly that it is impossible to build a heat engine that converts heat completely into work. So experimental evidence suggests strongly that it is impossible to build a heat engine that converts heat completely into work. That is an engine with 100% thermal efficiency. That means any practical engine which cannot convert 100% of heat energy supplied to it into mechanical work. This impossibility is the basis of one statement of the second law of thermodynamics called Kelvin's statement. States that it is impossible to derive a continuous supply of energy by cooling a body below the coldest of its surroundings, or it is impossible to derive a continuous supply of work by cooling a body below the coldest of its surroundings. This statement implies that the heat engine can work only when a source and sink are at higher and lower temperatures respectively. That means to derive continuous supply of energy or work, the heat engine should work at different temperatures. That means the source which should be at higher temperature and there is a sink which is maintained at a lower temperature. So the example is heat engine. So we can refer the figure here. So there is a hot reservoir maintained at a higher temperature T1. There is an engine and also there is a cold reservoir at temperature T1. If this heat engine absorbs heat from the source and does work when some amount of heat is rejected to the sink. If there is no sink, there is no possibility of converting 100% of heat which is supplied to the heat engine into work without rejecting some part of the heat absorbed by the engine to the sink. Second law of thermodynamics, in that refrigerator. So before that we can discuss the second statement, that is Clausius statement. Clausius statement is that it is impossible for a self-acting machine unaided by any external agency to transfer heat from a body at a lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature. Once again, it is impossible for a self-acting machine unaided by any external agency to transfer heat from a body at a lower temperature to a body at a higher temperature. That is, heat cannot by itself flow from a cold body to a hot body without doing an external work on the working substance. Heat cannot by itself flow from a cold body to a hot body without doing some external work on the working substance. Example, the best example is refrigerator as shown in this figure. So from this we find that heat cannot flow by itself from cold body to a hot body. So we have to do work to make this flow. That means work has to be done on the working substance to transfer heat from sink to the source or cold body to the hot body. So this statement can also be stated as perfect refrigerator is impossible. The concept of second law of thermodynamics reveals us that what percentage of heat can be converted into work. So if you supply some amount of heat to the heat engine, what fraction or percentage of the heat which is supplied to it is converted into work. This diagram shows the diagram of the refrigerator. Here, cold reservoir maintained at a temperature T2. So this heat pump absorb Q1 amount of heat from the cold reservoir maintained at a temperature, and work has to be done on it, and some part of the Q2 amount of heat is rejected to the hot reservoir. Refrigerator, it is also called heat pump. Heat is always transferred from high temperature to a low temperature region. So this is the general law, we know that. The reverse process cannot occur on itself. So heat itself can always be transferred from hot body to cold body, that is from high temperature region to a low temperature region. For this to take place, no work has to be done on it. But the reverse process cannot occur on itself. That means heat cannot itself flow from lower temperature region to higher temperature region, or from cold body to hot body. The reverse process cannot occur on itself. Transfer of heat from low temperature region to high temperature one requires special devices known as refrigerator. So we'll discuss in detail. This is the diagram of refrigerator. So work has to be done on the working substance. There are two machines in the refrigerator. One is evaporator and there is a condenser. These evaporator and condenser are the devices made to heat transfer from colder body to hotter body, that is refrigerator space to the surrounding air. They transfer from inside the refrigerator to the surroundings. Again, this is also the refrigerator or heat pump. So it absorbs certain amount of heat from low temperature region, that is from sink. For this to happen, an external work has to be done on the working substance in the refrigerator, and some part of the heat is rejected to the source, which is maintained at higher temperature. So heat cannot transfer from sink to the source or from cold body to hot body without doing some external work on the working substance. By doing some external work on the working substance, that is by an external agency, we can transfer heat from a low temperature region to high temperature region, that is from sink to the source. So we will discuss what is refrigeration, refrigerator, refrigerant in detail. The process of removal of heat from a substance at a temperature lower than the surroundings with the aid of an external work is called refrigeration. Process of removal of heat from a substance to a temperature lower than the surroundings with the aid of an external work is called refrigeration. The transfer of heat from a low temperature medium to a high temperature one requires special device called refrigerator. That means refrigerator is a heat pump which transfer heat from cold body to a hot body. Refrigerators, like heat engines, are cyclic devices. The working fluid used in the refrigeration cycle is called a refrigerant. So the working fluid used in a refrigerator in the refrigeration cycle is called a refrigerant. The most frequently used refrigeration cycle is the vapor compression refrigeration cycle. In a household refrigerator, the freezer compartment where heat is absorbed by the refrigerant serves as the evaporator. Once again, in a household refrigerator, the freezer compartment where heat is absorbed by the refrigerant serves as a evaporator, and the coils usually behind the refrigerator where heat is dissipated to the kitchen air serves as the condenser. Basic components of a refrigeration system and typical operating conditions are as shown in this diagram. A refrigerator is a Carnot's heat engine working in reverse direction. So refrigerator is one of the important application of the second law of thermodynamics. Once again, what is refrigerator? A refrigerator is a Carnot's heat engine working in reverse direction. So Carnot's heat engine, in a Carnot's heat engine, heat is transferred from source to sink, that is from high temperature region to low temperature region. But a refrigerator is a Carnot heat engine working in a reverse direction. Reverse direction means there is a transfer of heat from sink to the source by doing some external work on the working substance. A refrigerator needs work to transfer heat from cold body to hot body. Very important. A refrigerator needs work to transfer heat from cold body to a hot body. Without doing work, we cannot transfer heat from cold body to hot body. In an ordinary household refrigerator, the working substance is the liquid freon. Very important. The working substance in a refrigerator is a liquid freon, that is chlorofluorocarbons, CCl2F2, that circulated within the system. Work is done by an electric motor. Here, work is done by the electric motor. The cold body is the interior of the refrigerator. What is the cold body? The cold body is the interior of the refrigerator. What is the hot body? Hot body is the room in which refrigerator is kept. A room or a kitchen. Hot body is the room in which a refrigerator is kept. So this diagram represents once again the diagram of the refrigerator. Here there is a cold reservoir, once again maintained at a lower temperature. So heat is absorbed from the cold reservoir, that is sink, by doing some external work on the working substance, that is freon liquid, and rejects some percentage of heat to the hot reservoir maintained at a higher temperature T1, that is by doing some external work on the working substance in the refrigerator, heat is transferred from cold body to the hot body. Here an electric motor is the external agency to do the work on the working substance. In a refrigerator, the working substance absorbs Q2 amount of heat from the sink, that is from cold reservoir at a temperature T2. Here the working substance absorbs Q2 amount of heat from the cold reservoir, that is from the sink, maintained at a temperature T2. An amount of work W is done on it by the external agency. What is the external agency? The compressor, which is a compressor pump driven by electric motor. Compressor pump driven by an electric motor is an external agency. An amount of work W is done on it by the external agency, which is a compressor driven by electric motor, and rejects a larger quantity of heat, that is Q1, to the source at temperature T1 as shown in this figure. Here W is the work done on the gas per cycle, then the difference Q1 minus Q2 is equal to W is the external work required to drive the refrigerator. Here it absorbs Q1 amount of heat from the sink and rejects Q2 amount of the heat to the source. Therefore, work done on the working substance is difference in heat, that is Q1 minus Q2 is equal to W is the external work. W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. So Q1 minus Q2 amount of work is converted into work. Next, coefficient of performance of a refrigerator. In a refrigerator, instead of efficiency in Carnot's intention, we define efficiency. But in the case of refrigerator, we define coefficient of performance. In a refrigerator, instead of efficiency, we use the term coefficient of performance beta, which is defined as the ratio of heat removed from the cold body to the mechanical work required to operate the refrigerator. Coefficient of performance is defined as it is the ratio of heat removed from the cold body to the mechanical work required to operate the refrigerator. That is, coefficient of performance beta is equal to ratio of heat removed from the cold body to the mechanical work required to operate the refrigerator. It is also defined as ratio of desired output. So what amount of heat is removed from the cold body, that is desired output. So mechanical work is the required input. Therefore, coefficient of performance beta is equal to heat removed from the cold body is Q2 and mechanical work is represented by W. And also we know that work done W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. So Q2 by W is equal to Q2 over Q1 minus Q2. We already proved that Q1 by Q2 is equal to T1 by T2. Therefore, beta, coefficient of performance in terms of temperature is also given by beta is equal to T2 by T1 minus T2. This is the expression for coefficient of performance. Beta is equal to Q2 over Q1 minus Q2 or beta is equal to T2 by over T1 minus T2 represents the expression for coefficient of performance. A good refrigerator should have a high coefficient of performance. A good refrigerator should have a high coefficient of performance. In a perfect refrigerator, if work done is equal to 0, in a perfect refrigerator, work done is equal to 0. So Q2 is equal to Q1. W is equal to Q1 minus Q2. W is equal to 0. Then Q2 is equal to Q1 or Q1 is equal to Q2. That means what amount of the heat is absorbed by the refrigerator is rejected completely to the source. So the coefficient of performance of a perfect refrigerator is unity. If work done W is equal to 0, then Q2 is equal to Q1. If Q2 is equal to Q1, then the ratio, coefficient of performance is equal to unity. This is a condition for a perfect refrigerator. Once again, sorry, here 1 by 0. 1 by 0 means infinity, not unity, it is infinity. Because if Q1 is equal to Q2, Q1 minus Q2 is equal to 0. That 1 by 0 is equal to infinity. That is, coefficient of performance is equal to infinity. In a perfect refrigerator, W is equal to 0. So Q2 is equal to Q1. So the coefficient of performance of a perfect refrigerator is infinity because 1 by 0 is equal to infinity. This is the condition for a perfect refrigerator. Next, we can obtain the relation between efficiency eta of a Carnot heat engine and coefficient of performance beta of Carnot's refrigerator. So this is also very important. Consider a Carnot heat engine and Carnot's refrigerator working between the same temperatures T1 and T2. Then we know that efficiency of a Carnot heat engine is given by eta is equal to T1 minus T2 by T1, and coefficient of performance of a Carnot refrigerator is given by beta is equal to T2 by T1 minus T2. So consider beta plus 1, add plus 1 on both sides to this equation. We get beta plus 1 is equal to T2 over T1 minus T2 plus 1. After simplification, it is equal to T1 over T1 minus T2. We know that T1 minus T2 by T1 is equal to eta. Therefore, T1 by T1 minus T2 is equal to 1 over eta. Therefore, beta plus 1 is equal to 1 over eta, or beta is equal to 1 over eta minus 1, or eta is equal to 1 over beta plus 1. This is very important. Eta is equal to 1 over beta plus 1. This is the relation between eta and beta. What is the significance of the second law of thermodynamics? Second law of thermodynamics is not just limited to identify the direction of the process. Second law of thermodynamics is not just limited to identify the direction of the process. It also asserts that energy as a quantity as well as quality. Energy as quantity as well as quality in the form of efficiency and also performance. It helps to determine the degree of degradation of energy during the process. That means how much of energy is lost, or how much of energy is used to do the work. It helps to determine the degree of degradation of energy during the process. It also used to determine the theoretical limits for the performance of the commonly used engineering system such as heat engine and refrigerators. Very important use is that, so the theoretical limits of heat engine and refrigerators. That means there are no heat engines of 100% efficiency and 100% performance, coefficient of performance. It is used to determine the theoretical limits for the performance of the commonly used engineering systems such as heat engine and refrigerators. This is the significance of the second law of thermodynamics. I have used all these books as reference to make this video. Thank you for watching. Thank you once again. All of you subscribe my channel to view the next videos. Thank you.